Hey.
Are we live? Are we recording?
We're doing it live.
In the cabin, in the woods.
Okay.
In the woods.
Yes.
Dolly Sods.
We are in the woods. On a mountain.
Which mountain?
Dolly Sods.
All right.
Forget which side. We're in a cabin.
With
Remind-
electricity.
It's spooky.
Yeah.
We have not yet found the Necronomicon.
No, we found the record player with the Dave Matthews Band 12-inch.
We played it backwards, and we're pretty sure it summoned a demon.
Yeah.
And I noticed you gentlemen have some chilled beverages there.
Oh,
Mhm.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
This is a Fat Tire.
Yeah.
New Belgium.
I'm drinking this is stolen cabin beer. This is a Rheingeist Hustle Red Lager.
Oh, you actually went for the stuff that was in the fridge?
Mhm. Yeah,
Nice.
I tried one.
Okay.
It's
It's a local?
Courageous. We drove by a local brewery.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
Cincinnati.
That's not local.
Yeah. It's not bad. I don't even like lager, really. But red lager, yeah. It's doing me all right.
It's
All right.
free.
It is free.
Compliments of the
It's
cabin.
free.
Yeah.
I'm not going to replace it. Sorry, man. I don't.
So what are you drinking there, Greg?
I have the pineapple strawberry La Croix.
Mhm. Delicious. I sampled one earlier.
I pronounced it
delicious.
properly this time.
Mhm.
Did we look up and that's the correct pronunciation?
When you pronounce it right, you don't say anything. No words actually come out. You just pose, and people know, like, oh, it's
La Croix. Yeah.
La Croix.
The mood is set. It's like a horror movie. It's like Evil Dead.
It's a little chiller than Evil Dead.
Yeah.
There's no tension yet.
Not yet. There's
Not
good
yet.
lighting, too. It's very good
Yeah.
lighting.
I did duct tape a chainsaw to my hand, but
Fell off.
You haven't tried the cucumber
fuck no.
La Croix?
Should do a shot of it. We should all do a shot of it.
Fucking delicious.
He likes it. I like cucumbers. You don't like cucumbers.
I don't
and
like
you
cucumber.
still like the drink, so that bodes well.
Yeah. Or maybe it turns out I actually do like cucumbers and I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Wow, this is quite a learning experience.
This trip has opened your mind to many things. I don't know. There's so many good flavors of this shit,
Mhm.
and I feel like they're just making stuff up now.
Mm-hmm.
To-
They didn't make up
novelty of it.
cucumbers.
There's no way that.
Those existed before the. Oh really?
Did
how
they?
how often have you had a drink that contained cucumber in it?
Well, there's a Gatorade that has cucumber in it. That
Have you had
apparently
it?
it's really popular.
That sounds like shit. Orange Gatorade is good.
This is reviews now about beverages.
Yeah. We do. We
Our
have
podcast is
a beverage review section.
ASMR for people that are thirsty. One's sitting there licking their lips right now.
Do you got some?
We'll be doling those out as needed.
Do you have one that's like a whip? Like a.
You can make it more whip.
Yeah, make a.
It still sounds exactly
Not
the
quite
same.
whippish yet. No.
It whips for you, man.
We're getting further away from a whip.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Can the plunk?
It's some Paul Schreiber business there, isn't it? Yep. This is why we do this.
Oh my god, that's a horrible sound.
That's why it's in my rig.
Yeah. It sounds like a robot Paul Schreiber. Sorry, Paul. Much respect.
It's supposed to say fail, but it's failing.
It sounds like it's just saying hello, like every time you do it, but just various states of like dying. Is that how you use it? Because you process that pretty heavily after it comes out. Okay.
I usually hit it with a lot of CV and use the like slow down glitch stuff
Gotcha.
that it has,
Hmm.
you know what I mean, to mutilate it.
That sounds like a
Sorry,
dinosaur
thank you.
fucking
Yeah.
a robot.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this in the past, but does he know this is what you're doing to his creation?
I doubt it. And speaking of Paul Schreiber,
Oh, because he's going to be somewhere.
he's going to be at Knobcon,
That is coming up.
Yep.
and he's going to be showing the new E352, is it?
52. You're right.
Yeah.
Because the 50 was the original morphing terrarium.
Yes.
He's got the 52, which has a CV attenuator. There's a lot more control. The whole beautiful colored display. Is it touchscreen or no?
Yeah, I don't think it's
I don't think
touchscreen,
those.
no. But it is a nice display.
Yeah, it's got the XY scope shit, which people love to do with his module.
Definitely a step up than what's on my E951 expander. You know what I mean? That's just like black and white,
Yeah,
tiny.
little LED. That is not this.
It gets the job done, but yeah. But this also doesn't really have a menu system like the 352 does. You know what I mean? So you actually need to be able to have a nice screen to navigate, and looks like he did a good job with that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, looks beautiful all around. And he's got the wave editor, too, which people are pretty excited about just across the board to make waveforms for stuff. Seems like a pretty nice program.
Yeah, I never had the 350, but I had the 344. Yeah, and I like that a lot. And this looks like a mutant of both of those combined, you know, to the 10th power, along with a display to see what the hell you're doing. And like you can make a cloud of E350 waveforms now. You know what I mean? Not just the sine waves.
Yeah.
And the saw waves. It looks like a beast.
Yeah.
Looking forward to checking it out.
Because he's got the poly version, too, which he's been cooking on for a while.
Yeah.
The 4-voice one. Not as exciting to me as the fully patched out, knobbed out 352.
Yeah, I agree. The big one
Yeah.
was too big for me, my needs. I don't really need poly, and it's an expensive and large module. I mean, it looks awesome. It's just not something that I felt like I ever needed. The 352, I can definitely see getting one of those, you know, in black.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I think if you want it in black, you got to get it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's a trick. That's a dirty trick. Really good one.
If he has any for sale at Knobcon, I might be going home with one.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
I've been tempted by it.
I want the in-person demo that we've been getting from Paul every year at Knobcon with every new thing that he has. He always does a hell of a job explaining it while making me feel completely inadequate as a human being. And I always go home and buy what he showed me every time.
Yeah. Doing it, he's kind of like, as people are freaking out about the status of it, he's kind of like, yeah, whatever. I know what I'm doing, and I'm making progress, and here it is. And it's like, it's kind of cool to see a lot of the haters being just shut down by Paul being like pretty damn consistent with what he's doing.
He comes out of nowhere with these things, and it's just like there's nothing else like that on the market. And all of a sudden, like, all these people pop up on Muff Wiggler, and they're trying to tell him what he needs to be doing with this module. It's like, what are you comparing this to? There's nothing else that exists. Like, he's the one inventing this shit. Just let him do his thing. Like, you know. So, speaking of Knobcon,
Yes.
the list of people presenting or whatever, the list came out yesterday.
Oh, was there any surprises?
There was a few.
Wait, are we on the list?
Yeah.
We are, because we have a table. We're presenting.
Shit.
Right down there, SysEx Dumpster.
Wow.
We're fucking famous.
This is
We have nothing.
Noise engineering is listed as presenting, which, to my knowledge, he's never done before.
No.
We've always just played with the noise engineering stuff in other people's racks there.
Yeah.
I think usually along with...
what I thought it was one of the places that was selling stuff.
Yeah, Foxtone.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, noise engineering's on there. That's the first, to my knowledge.
That'll be cool.
Industrial Music Electronics will be back. New jams that he's bringing.
Oh, yeah. He's got at least 3 that he's been kind of teasing, right?
Oh, wait, 3 modules?
Argos Bleak
Yeah.
and a few others, yeah.
Argos Bleak. What does it actually do?
No fucking clue.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
either.
I just
The videos that he's posted, it sounds cool. Finally get to check it out, I guess, in person. Moog.
they've been in there in the past though, haven't they?
Yeah.
I never paid a bit of
They
attention.
had that whole corner.
Yeah.
And the hotel that one year.
Yeah.
I forget.
I mean, we
Did
didn't
they?
go pay attention. It was on the second floor, like at the top of the
Of
stairs.
the second to last hotel.
I thought usually just people brought
No, I think
Moog
that was-
stuff in.
Yeah, they had like signs and shit.
Yeah, they were there.
Shows how much I pay attention.
I mean, there were a lot of people there, and they were fired up for it.
Yeah, because they had all those, like, they had everything that they make, like all those Sub 37. Sub 37 looks rad. It's just not something I'm going to buy. Got the CV outs, like it looks
Yeah.
really like it integrates very well with a modular, which it should.
Yeah.
We got Electron, maybe showing off their Mark II previews.
I don't even want to see the Mark II. It's just I'm gonna want it. I know I want it.
Yeah.
It's like already a done deal.
I honestly want to check out Heat in person.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious.
What do you think? Where do you think the surprise is going to be?
It's either going to sound better than I imagine, or sound exactly as I imagine.
Okay.
It'd be good to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why I haven't gotten one yet, because I just don't see how it's going to stand out over any other like distortion pedal out there that costs half the price, or an old analog mixer that costs like 1/8 the price.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I know Surchai used it quite a bit, it seems.
Yeah, I see him using it in some Instagram videos, but at the same time, he's also running that same sound source through like multiple other distortion paths before it hits
like
the
the
heat.
electromechanical.
Right. And he's always slamming everything with that L1 stereo compressor, and I know that thing sounds amazing. So it's hard to tell how much of that nice sounding compressed distortion is coming from heat or from other sources, or that's basically what I want to find out is how brutal can this thing get. Can it be as brutal as or more brutal than like an old fucking Mackie mixer?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can reach that level of nastiness and still keep the noise floor low, then I'm interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it sounds like the same, then why bother?
Right.
You can get an old mixer for fucking $75 instead
What's
of $700. But
what's the white version of it that's like
it's
Drive? Is that it? Like just called Drive or something like that? Because I
it's-
see like guitar magazines and guitar people seem to like it gets like huge awesome ratings, but that doesn't mean much for us.
The main difference with that thing is you have no preset saving, you have no envelope follower, and no stereo out.
and no overbridge, no USB.
Right, it's just like
straightforward.
It's just
So it's a
straight
pedal.
distortion pedal.
It's just a
Yeah.
pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of more appealing to me. It's a little smaller, less expensive, and it's just doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's distorting shit, which is all I would be using it for.
I hope they have a rhythm sitting there to hook up into a heat, because then we'll be able to we know what that sounds like.
That's basically what I want to do, or a machine drum. Just
Or just drag
just
your
a straight up drum machine through it to see what I can do with it.
or just drag your rig over there
Yeah,
and just sit it down and
start
go.
plug it in.
Listen, there's a good chance I'm going to walk away with this. Let me plug this in and see what it does.
Taking it for a test drive.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring my video shit.
to Knobcon.
Oh, you fucking should. That's a good
awesome.
idea.
Just
How
for,
would-
like,
How'd you present it? Would you bring the Commodore monitor or like? Okay,
Sweet.
yeah,
that's a great idea.
if we have space for it.
I think we do.
Crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's cool.
probably have to seatbelt it in because that thing's old and heavy.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I figured I'd do that.
Wheel down one of the TVs from our hotel room.
Zeta ohms on there.
Oh yeah,
Get
that'll
to
be
play, get to play with a working Fluxus one this time.
yeah.
Not just
little-
look at the prototype.
Will you guys have them by then? Is that or is
That it doesn't look like it.
No.
I think they're going to be shipping out. I think late August now. Is that
Oh,
the-
even I think it's like more September, October.
yeah. Okay.
I'm wildly looking forward to that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Super excited. Maybe use it as a replacement for some of the variegate and voltage block for a live situation.
I'm very excited for you guys to get them, so that I can play with them.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like an amazing machine.
Yeah. I think he's in releasable format, like pretty much at any point. I know he added like swing per channel, a few other things that he said he wanted to add, but wasn't thinking they were going to be in the initial release. But now he just has more time. Is WMD going to be there?
Not on the list.
Oh, that's a bummer.
They usually are the ones who demo some other stuff from other people.
They're just sick of people asking about the Geiger.
Not the Geiger. The
Gamma Wave.
Gamma Wave.
Yeah.
That was his proof that the Omnimods exist, where he also had a picture of here's the Geiger Counter Pro pedal that nobody's seen until now.
Keep in mind that this is not the finalized list.
Oh, well, hopefully they jump on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they've been there every year we've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there isn't too much more that I can think of at Knobcon that I'm really looking forward to see that I know right now.
Always engineering.
It was engineering, the Presido or
Yeah.
however you pronounce it. That seems want to put some time in with that.
Yeah.
I might not actually be able to fit it. I don't know because I got that the 4MS sampler coming.
Oh, right,
also,
that's pretty
should
big.
ship out next week, I think. And it's pretty big, so I'm gonna have to rearrange some shit.
So I'm curious, what do you want to do like with the 4 milliseconds one? Aside from just general like carnage and stuff, are you like thinking drum duties, both, everything?
Both. In my head, I already have a couple ideas to make full banks of like, drum hits, but on the other hand, I want to dedicate several banks to just live looping. I was reading the manual, like you can have each sound immediately loop when it ends. Like you can, I forget what it is, but you like hold down 2 buttons and it'll either go from one shot to loop mode.
Mm-hmm.
So you can toggle between the two, but it also, every sample, there's a dedicated end out jack.
Mm-hmm.
So when the sound clip ends, it'll generate a gate. So essentially, you could have it generate the start every time it ends.
Yeah.
So you could like fuck with this, the start and end times, and every time it ends, trigger itself over and over again. So you could do some really weird, granular type stuff.
Does it also have like gate play? Like you send it a gate, it'll only play that long.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, good question.
Good question. So you could have it, if you have it in loop mode, you could have it playing in a loop only as long as it's receiving a gate.
Yeah, something
I
like that.
get what you're saying. That would be cool. No idea if it can do
Yeah.
that yet, though. Yeah, I'm excited for it, mainly because, I don't know, I bounce out a lot of the stuff that I make in the modular as, chunks, and then I drop them into slicers and loopers and shit in my DAW, but it'd be nice to not have to bounce it out and be able to manipulate chunks of my audio within the modular realm in real time. I'd like to be able to use that for performance also. I already have some ideas.
Are you imagining actually like recording yourself, like using it like a looper pedal type of thing?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a cool idea. Like starting from a blank slate.
Yep.
Record, add new stuff to it, and then
Exactly.
that's a cool idea too. Because then, like, I starting to click now when you're talking about like now you can use those modules for something else, so you can repatch on the fly and go, okay,
start or you don't even have to you don't even have to take it that far. Like, you don't have to necessarily repatch it, but if you can just all of a sudden change the parameters. And you'll still have this sound here, and now you can either layer it with that or bounce out a new chunk. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have some ideas. Whether or not I'll actually be able to apply these ideas, I don't know.
No, it's a cool idea though.
It's just me patching in my head,
That's what people do with the Octatrack a lot. Like we were talking about the last episodes, that looper thing that's kind of elusive.
Exactly.
And that sounds like it might be a quicker path that's like less of an Octatrack to get there, which would be rad.
Yeah. No time stretching or anything like that, like you would get in an Octo, but yeah, it's still similar in that way. I do hope that someone eventually, if not with the 4MS and some other easy looper, will have like time stretching enabled.
Yeah.
That would be very nice. I'm trying to think of what can do that in a module right now.
I don't even know if the 301 can do it.
I think it was mentioned like it'll be added at some point in the 301. I don't know if it's there currently, but
yeah, because the hack right now is you take the saw wave into it and then just kind of have it move the start point and then have it kind of shift through it. And people were doing like pseudo time stretching that actually sounds like
that's
close.
what I used to do on the Time Safari.
Exactly.
Okay.
You got to patch it still.
Yeah,
it's not just like offline,
right?
Real time.
That's no fun because
No.
you want to be able to CV the endpoints and the start points while having something time stretched.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's where the good is. You know what I mean? That's where you start getting into some crazy fuck shit up manipulation. We're just not close enough yet to battery in a module, but
No.
keep waiting for it.
They're actually he's working on the drum rack portion of the 301, which seems like it'll be like battery-esque, but still no time stretch.
Roland.
Oh, the boutique. The boutique.
Boutique.
Are we saying that correct?
Yeah.
Boutique
think
or
so.
boutique?
Boutique.
Boutique.
So they got the TR-08, which is the 808 clone, which is kind of inevitable given that they did the 909. They got the 101 in the different colors. The 101, I'd like to give that a shot maybe. The boutique things, they already, like, in my mind, make me want to go left. It's like, everybody's going to get these? Don't do that. Do something else.
Yeah.
That's like my gut feeling with them.
We're going to hear that sound a lot
Well,
coming up here soon.
Again, just like we talked about last year around this time when they debuted the 909 and shit, it's like, why bring it back if you're not really offering anything new with it? I mean, I know it has a few new tricks up its sleeve, but still, like what, 20 years at least?
Dude, yeah,
30? Like
808 was 1980. The 909 was 1983.
And in 30 years, you can't come up with anything more than just say, like, oh, it can do poly now and shit. It's like, come on. It's like, why just make something to be a throwback?
Because it is. They know people.
Yeah.
People want that.
I mean, we talked about this exact thing last year and came to the
blows
same
my
conclusion.
mind.
I read this review of it. And I'll say, they're powered off like USB plugs. And the guy's main complaint was if you power it off a USB, there's like an inevitable 60 cycle hum that comes into it that you can only fix by powering with batteries. And they last all of like an hour and a half or 2 hours on the batteries or something like
Holy
that.
shit.
And this dude was talking about, when I take it to the club, it sounds amazing, but I have to put batteries in right before I play it to get out of this 60 like hertz.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's what his review. Otherwise, he's like, oh, it sounds great. Like it sounds like better than the TR8 does, but there's like, why did they power it that way?
So they don't have another power option. It's only USB or battery.
Yeah, it's like a little USB.
You can't put like a wall wart.
I don't think so.
That's just stupid.
That's
Yeah,
seriously-
I read that and I was like, oh, never.
I don't get it.
They're cute. Even Derek Basic
You're-
was like, oh, these things are fucking cute.
Yeah, they're adorable. But at that point, you're just selling nostalgia and aesthetic.
They're doubling down on the cute too because they've got that little. Do you see the little keyboard you can get?
Oh, yeah.
Everything about it is just like, I've got a nephew who's into music. I'm gonna get him this cute little keyboard. Like it's that level of adorableness.
I'm sure you can buy them this Christmas at what's the fucking store?
Guitar Center.
Not Guitar Center, that place that sells hipster record
Oh,
player.
Urban Outfitter.
Thank you.
I guarantee.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to be sitting right next to your fucking mustache toaster and all this other cheese ball shit. And it's like, come on. We're talking about a fucking legendary machine here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Reduced to novelty. Yeah.
That they, like,
exactly. Reduced to
always-
something you can get at fucking Spencer's Gifts now. It's like, for fuck's sake, come on.
They always try to attack it at this angle, but it's like, why can't you just do what worked first time again and just call it fucking done?
Yeah.
Because that was the review where the guy said it had the hum. He also mentioned like, in the original, the knob spanned the width of everything on the machine. If they would have moved it even like a few centimeters over, this thing wouldn't be painful to like. He even said, like, I guarantee if you use it live, you're going to fuck up these knobs like I have when you're doing a sweep like on something in the middle of a set.
You can't go to town on the knobs.
You can't
tweak it out.
You're going to fuck them up.
Like, how do you not take your own legacy serious?
They fucked it up so bad in the 90s, and it's like, oh, you're going to recover it. No, you aren't.
The TR8 was such a promising start.
Yeah.
You still have one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
It's a great little machine. It's lacking many things, but it's fun to tweak out on.
Yeah.
Interface is nice. Feels stable. Sequencer's shit, but it's whatever. You can jump through patterns on it and shit, and hook up a MIDI controller to it and make up for that, I guess. I mean, that's how I've gotten by. I always felt like that was the start, not like, oh, this is it.
Yeah,
right.
Nailed
You know
it.
what I mean? Yeah, like I was like, okay, this is a good start. I can't wait to see what they do next, while paying respects to the older devices, and this is what they come up with. It's like, come on.
It's Japan too. Like they have, there's limited space, so they want to sell devices that people in Japan can have all of them in a reasonable amount of space without having our, we have huge houses compared to them. So it's part cultural. It's part that they, miniaturization has always been, what is it? The super deformed SD versions of things have always, that's like a cultural phenomenon. So they kind of made like the SD version of like the big boys. And it's kind of like, just take it that extra step. And this thing, Behringer immediately put up their picture of their 101 clone, which has full size guitar,
I haven't looked at that yet.
everything. Yeah, it's like M101 or something like that. And it looks like it's a kind of crappy picture of someone holding a guitar, but it looks like
That's what a 101
remade
should
the
be,
full
though.
thing.
Yeah, like I had the keytar attachments for mine. Never once used it like a keytar, but I was just excited to have that, attachment and the original strap and everything. I was like,
So you felt like the drawing on the side
yeah,
of the box. Yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
That thing was, it was mint too. I mean, that's the only 101 I've really spent time with, and that's the one.
It was mint, except for the fact some jagoff left the fucking batteries in and it melted the inside. And that's, I'm sure we can look forward to people doing the same thing with these ones now if you have to put fucking batteries in just to not get a hum. But yeah, 101, man, that's a hell of a machine. It bums me out that they're doing it
doing it dirty,
man.
Yeah.
I don't know if the 101 is as dirty. Like, I'm fine with the 101.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 808 and the other ones that, like, the 101 looks usable. They even made the sliders bigger because that's the Jupiter 8 version. Those sliders, it's like a centimeter of slider travel.
Oh wait, seriously?
For real.
Wow.
Have you ever, like, I've played with one at pianos and stuff and was like, holy fuck, this is not usable. The Juno had like fuller sliders, but they really had to jam it in for the Jupiter one, and it's like even the Create Digital music review of the 101, it's like, oh, they extended the slider so it's like full range. They did like a nice paint job, like it's not wobbly like the other ones. So they're like iterating on that concept. The 101 one looks interesting to me.
I would have to play with it, dude. I'd have to hear it, and I'd just have to play it. You know, that was the thing with the 101 is that the interface was perfect.
Right.
I love the fucking slider. I like sliders in general. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the 101 sliders, I felt great. You could find the sweet spots. Like
it was all sweet spots, you know?
Exactly. And I felt like I could dial in the ones that I wanted with my fucking eyes closed. Like you knew where it was on that slider. You know what I mean? Like you feel it out real quick. It was like pounding on a like multi-band EQ, you know what I mean? Like you just know where the fuck you're going. You don't even have to hear it yet. You just know what you're dialing in, type of thing. I don't know how you're gonna be able to do that on a tiny little thing like that. I feel like you're gonna be overshooting your sweet spots. You know what I mean? Trying to dial in these little fucking sliders and stuff.
That's what the Jupiter 8 one. That was like, oh, you can't even. This is not usable to me. And that's when people were like, oh, you can use it with an external CCs or something, but you defeated the purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do that with anything.
Yep. Make it the size of a fucking calculator. Hook up a fucking MIDI box to it. Have it just be a sound brain at that point.
Yeah. Hooking up a MIDI control, you've admitted defeat at that point. Like that it doesn't work for you.
The 909's been out for like a year. Has it sold well? I don't feel like I've seen a lot of like live setups that included it.
When it was released, no one shut the fuck up about it.
Right.
It was so much chatter about it, and now, I don't really see much happening with them.
I
don't know anyone that owns one.
Techno dude Paul Birkin, but even then, I think he changed all the knobs on it.
Oh yeah.
The 909 to have like smaller knob caps, so we could actually use the freaking thing live. But now it looks like he has a Digitact instead of that. So there's also the hidden SP404 update, non-update. So they released an SP404A alongside all of this stuff, which has the IRA colors, and they sell it. There's also a TR8 update so that you can trigger the SP404 from the TR8. Except like they kind of sell it as though it's something you can do that already with the existing SP404. All they've done is put the new colors on it, and they added a TR8 update so you can trigger it just like anything else could trigger via MIDI. So they've repainted the 404, added no features to it at all, and they're selling it as the IRA version of it. And they make it seem like it can only do this shit with the TR8, whereas
you need it to match your other IRA products.
Yeah. It seems like an odd split within the company. Like these halfway there cute ones that look like the real thing versus you're like, you couldn't make these fucking uglier IRA versions of things where it's like really the Matrix aesthetic is really like they're locked into it. Green and black.
Yeah. I can't deny I kind of like it.
Oh, you do?
I like it. It makes me like nostalgic for the 90s, dude.
Oh, dude.
Like if I was like a 13-year-old and I walked into the Guitar Center in like, 1995 or whatever, and I saw a TR8 sitting there glowing green and black, dude, I would have pissed my pants for that.
No doubt. I'll admit to that too. To me, they could have tapped into the modders market where like just sell me something where I can make the trim black or like make it any color.
I do wish I could modify it. Yes.
Yeah, they could have made a ton of money
I've seen
just
some
selling
good mods. Like you ever see the 808 mod for the TR? Yeah, that looks nice. I can't deny that. But the default skins and shit too, I kind of dig. I don't know why. It's not like the original 808 was eye candy to begin with or anything.
Oh, to me that's like like the originals, especially the 909 and the 808. It's like that to me. That shit is like that's alien shit. Like really, truly, like I don't know how you made that. And that's that one engineer, same engineer that made like the 303, 808, 909. Like that dude's on another planet. that was a
the
static.
808 always looked like an 8-track player to me.
Oh yeah. It's like,
The look of it has never appealed to me. But the 909 I always kind of looked. I like that because it just looks like something from a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, to me they're like pure, just so 80s. Like it's like
it's like real Shadowrun to me. Like it's that whole thing of like that's your deck.
But yeah, that being said, the backlit sliders, that's brilliant. Like
Yeah.
for using it live or having it in a studio, like the UI enhancements that they put into that and the knob spacing, it's like so usable. And it's like, why does it? You guys got to get together and like make like seriously. Don't you see that gap?
There's a middle ground between those two.
The TR8, it'll take up a chunk of desk space, but
but it should.
Sliders for every voice, well spaced. You know, everything just jives. It's a nice interface all around.
Yeah, I wish I was hoping, like you said, like that seemed like a good start. Like take that interface and keep like they kind of did shoehorn some other models into it, I guess. The 606 and 727, 707 stuff. You know, it's something, Mr. D kind of like, that's almost like the other end where it's like, oh, this is patched out. This is like analog. Like there's like an interesting middle ground in there to like, Roland could take that further, like individual outs that aren't kind of crazy to assign and configure trigger inputs. That'd be cool.
I would love trigger inputs and trigger outputs.
Yeah, what's actually on the back? Like what are the ins and outs on that?
On the TR8?
Yeah.
You got 2 like AB outputs, and then you got your main stereo out. You can, if I recall, right?
You can assign, you can assign the voices to the other AB out. So you can't configure it to be like rim shot always come out of this one.
You can, but the thing that annoys me with it is you can't do it live. You have to restart the machine.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
To do a dedicated output on any voice.
Because that would be really cool to be able to just do that on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which 808 and 909, it's like everything's there, meant to hook up to a mixer live. And
I find it really hard to believe that's a technical.
You have to turn the machine off, hold the key code sequence, boot it up, tell it which channel you want, or which track, I should say, to go out which channel, A or B or main.
I've never even used it because I'm like, no, I just use the stereo out.
I have, just to route things through different distortion and things of that nature. But like every time I do it, I'm like, well, fuck, now I want this channel to go through there too, and this and that, and like you have to turn it off and go through the whole process. And it's just not a very speedy process. It's kind of cumbersome.
Do you feel like there was like wasted real estate back there that they could have had more trigger in, trigger out, all the stuff?
There's room.
There's some space, yeah.
They probably didn't want to. It was probably diminishing returns from a product development standpoint. They're like 90% of people are just going to bang stuff out of the stereo out, so we're not going to put in the effort to add all these other jacks. But TB3, I still have. You don't have the
not
TB3 anymore, do you? Yeah, that's good for as a baseline machine. It's got some secrets in it too. It's all about the alternate waveforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't even.
Wait, you're being recorded, right?
Yeah. I'll give that secret away. All right. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't even know if those were implemented yet when I had one. I can't remember. It was a very, very early version of the OS. Just like the TR8 when I first had it, didn't have any of those other things. It just had the 908 and the 808.
Right.
That was it. And then when I found out they released like all this other stuff like a year or so later, I bought it again.
There are like 100 waveforms, and you have to like know where the square and the saw are. Otherwise, there are super saws. There are all sorts of other emulations of different waves.
So the stars at night are big and bright.
Where?
Deep in the heart of West Virginia.
Oh.
You see what I did there?
Yeah, nicely.
I switched it around. So Plonk.
Oh yeah.
Got a Plonk.
Yeah, we were hearing some demos of it earlier. It sounded great.
Do you think so, Dave?
I don't know. Now you're making me second guess it.
Think about it. No, I'm pretty happy with the sound of it overall.
Yeah.
I think it's too early to say if I feel like it sounds great just yet, though.
Can you make it great?
Sell me on it not being great.
It has a lot of different models and a lot of different presets, but I feel like a lot of sounds out of it overall sound the same, like tonally. I feel like almost everything I've only messed with it for like 4 days now, but I feel like the majority of I get out of it, it all sounds like different variations of the same preset, even though it's not. Even if I completely, wipe everything out, initiate preset, and start from scratch, I feel like a lot of things that come out of it sound like Plonk. You know what I mean? Not that it's a bad thing, It's just that I thought I would get a little more variety of different sounding things out of it.
It's really funny you say that, though, because I had the exact opposite reaction whenever you started playing me
Really?
some of that stuff. I was like, I can't believe that's coming out of that. That's even better than I thought it was going to,
Okay.
or hope for.
Cool.
The bass sound surprised me. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I thought
It
was
is
just gonna be
good at
drums.
bass. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Even like sub bass. And I don't think I was expecting that. I thought it would be better for more higher toned metallic percussion stuff and like string like things. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting it to be like a mutant bass drum. It's definitely got some really nice definition on low end. You know what I mean? Like it even has some sub bass presets. And some of the presets that I've made already were based on variations of those ones. You know what I mean? Because it just does it really well.
Mm-hmm.
But in my head, I'm like comparing it to Elements. You know, I don't know. There's not too much out there that does physical modeling
Right.
in Eurorack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got. That's what you got. You know what I mean? You got your Elements. You got your Plonk now. Braids has some
rings, different
rings also.
like
Yeah, but that's
subset
mostly
of
resonation stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. Like for weird percussive stuff, it's pretty limited. You know what I mean? In my opinion. So I feel like we have to compare the two. You get more out of Elements. I feel like that sounded different from each other. I feel like Elements, it was kind of like a set it and forget it type of thing. Like you would dial in your sound, get it to where you want, and then you could hit it with a variety of different modulations. But you would just be working with that sound. Whereas with Plonk, you can even cycle different presets. You can morph things, so you can jump from different types of sounds way faster than you could ever do with Elements, even if you knew all the sweet spots that you wanted to dial in, you know what I mean, or sequence. So it's definitely a faster workflow than Elements for sure, and it's definitely a smaller footprint. But I don't know. I like it. I'm just waiting to be like, I'm waiting to hit that spot where it like really blows my mind, you know?
Yeah. There we go. All right.
I love how wimpy that is. It's just like, I can barely do it.
What is that? Is that the BIA doing that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, why does it sound so wimpy?
Anywho.
Wait, do you want to explain for our listeners what you were doing there?
I was hitting the Basilis Iteritus altar, hitting the trigger thing. Oh my god.
Where's that nice like 8-bit tone coming from?
I think that is because the attack isn't.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Which I rarely, normally it's set at noon just so I don't hear
That 8-bit noise. Yeah.
that. I'm modulating. That's the Ornament and Crime is doing its thing on it too. Got Quadraturia sending 4 LFOs into 4 of the inputs on there.
So Nick, you got a new fancy toy also.
Oh yeah, we got the ER301, which I'm like at this point comfortable enough to talk about it. I've likened it to the Octatrack, but it's really more like a chain of things in Ableton. But you can kind of nest those too, and you could take any of those points of control and send CV to it. And that's the cool thing. The thing I really like is that you can take one modulation source, send it to one of the 12 inputs, which is pretty generous, and then it's bipolar modulation to target anything you want. So you can have one CV change like 60 parameters at the same time if you want, with different amounts and levels and offsets for each one. So they're like, it's got 2 screens, right? 2 LEDs. The second one, that's where you end up assigning like CV coming in.
So you have 12 inputs and you can route any of those 12 pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. And you can take any one of them. It's like one to many, not just like one to one. So you can take any of those targets. So it's really like, it's plenty of control. You can actually, I think it's cool because like the dude, like he labels like the frequency ranges and everything for all the IO right here. Because you can do audio with these too, but it's just limited and it's not the bandwidth of the actual true audio inputs, which sound fucking good. Like the recordings are awesome. It's got a 6-track recorder built in, so you can do like 4 inputs recording, but you can also do just monitor everything that's going on while you're recording too. It's one of the nice things is like you can you could have something just always recording everything that you're doing on the module and still have 4 channels of recording stuff. So it's like just a record of what's going on, which is really cool because even with a DAW, you can't really do that. If you hit, certain things in Ableton, if you stop it, it stops recording. But this is like constantly recording everything that you're doing, which is really nice. The resampling, it's rad. There's a learning curve to it, but even I thought the Octatrack was harder to learn. Honestly, that thing took me like a half year or a year to get used to. And this is like, I haven't even put too much time into it, but once you get the general flow, the hardest thing is just knowing like when to nest an envelope or like how to get to these screens. And then when you get into it, he's like all these nice shortcuts. Like there's a home button that just goes up. There's an up button that goes up in the chain. Home button, double hit it, takes you back to the start. He's added a screenshot feature, so you can like share kind of your patches or things that are going on, which is kind of nice. There aren't like, there's a low pass filter right now. There's no high pass, there's no band, but he knows it's on the roadmap. Like I've got to add a lot more of these basics. And he wants, I think, just a plug-in framework so that other people can do that stuff. Like I think we mentioned before.
So you can record up to 4 things at once.
Mm-hmm.
How many can you play at once?
Oh, a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like 4 in, 4 out type thing?
Yeah. So you've got these buttons over here. They correspond. You can link these to be stereo too. It's actually
so like 2 stereo pair?
Yeah. You can do 2 stereo pair. You can do an individual mono. And it's flexible. You can do the mono here, and then stereo in the middle. It's got some depth to it for sure. There are lots of parts that I haven't really gotten to.
One time we did a Prometheus Breinich show in Philly, and I had ordered that circuit bent Kawai drum machine.
Oh, yeah.
And it got shipped like way later than I wanted to. Like originally I wanted to use that live. And then the day that we were leaving for Philly, it fucking shows up at the door. I didn't even open the box. I just threw it in the car with the rest of the gear. And I spent an hour and a half in sound check just fucking with it. And I was like trying to figure out where I could incorporate it. So I did. I just figured out a few spots in the set where like I could just improvise with it. And
Nice.
I had no idea what I was
fucking
and
awesome.
and it was circuit bent on top of that. So I was like, this thing's just going to shit itself live. But I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try it. And yeah, it worked out all right.
I did that with the Digitac to that last set. I was like,
Yeah.
had it a
Oh,
week,
yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah, I was surprised to see it out on your table live. I was like, okay.
I took it out at one point when I was practicing on the table at home. And I was like, okay, this is like, it's a lot to manage. I even mentioned previous podcasts, like 2 drum machines. Like, you're going to do this? But yeah, it worked out well enough. Like, I like it together with the rhythm. I think they complement nicely.
It really seems like it would complement any other Electron box really well. Drum, hitting a machine drum with the MIDI tracks, with the probabilistic stuff built in there now. Like
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
I was thinking about that when I was looking at that machine drum that popped up for sale real cheap, and I was like, oh man, I was like, I could probably sequence that with a Digitac, and that just the 2 of those alone would probably be a solid live set. What I mean? Maybe a synth box on top of it, for your more synth line atmospheric stuff. But the one thing I was thinking of, though, that would be a bad limitation is that you have more voices on the machine drum than you do MIDI tracks on the Digi.
This is true.
So you would be hard limited there. Still 8, I mean,
That's
that's a
pretty
fair
generous,
amount,
yeah.
but it's just the fact that you wouldn't be able to utilize every voice on there. That was the one limitation that popped into my head, but other than that, it seemed like it would be a cool combo.